Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials. In this video today we are going to check out how to add or remove enemy waves in GameMaker official tower defense tutorial, which is called Towers vs Monsters. In previous video, which was very long, 1 hour long, we have learned how to edit enemy waves, and thankfully for that, now this video will be much shorter because we will use the knowledge from previous video, and again that's what I was talking about, and that's what I talk about in general, not only GameMaker related in game development, but in general. Once you learn something and spend some time learning something, then later you can reuse that knowledge, or even if it's just learning where things are in some job, work, code, or whatever. So to make quick recap, but really quick recap of previous video, for all of you who didn't watch it or don't want to watch it because it's too long, we have divided solving our problems in couple of steps. The first step, or the zero step even, should be just defining the problem. Once we defined the problem, and the problem was how to edit enemy waves. Enemy waves in our game are waves of enemies, so in tower defense games you have waves of, and in most of the tower defense games you have waves of enemies which go and are spawned from one place to another to attack the tower, and they go in waves. For example, first wave we have a couple of enemies, the second more and more heavier, harder, stronger enemies, and so on. So that's some kind of mainstream tower defense mechanics. We wanted to change some aspects of it because we don't want to reuse the template, the game template from GameMaker in exact same manner as if they gave to us. So we wanted to change a couple of things. We wanted to change the number of enemies, the type of enemies, and the spawn time between them. So we have defined that problem. That was the first step. The second was to find where that problem can be in this whole code, but we have to read the documentation for it. The documentation is like a notepad. It's text only, and that's made already again by GameMaker programmers who made this template. They gave us this documentation to help us find things where the things are in code. We read the documentation and found the objects in which we thought the problem would be, a couple of those, and then we have searched through this code in those different objects and finally found the problem. Once we found the problem, we tested and changed these numbers and features to see how it will affect the game, the look of the game and the feel, and if it is something which we want to change. And thankfully we got lucky after some time and found what we need to change. In short, we need to change the obj wave level 1, that is the object in managers folder. So you go to your asset browser, big tab here, big folder with all of the assets in your game, then click on objects, then click on managers, then click on obj wave level 1 to open that specific object, then click on events create. It will open the code. The code is big. You can see how big it is with center fit button here. So it has lots of stuff here, but these code blocks, they all define the enemy waves. So when the game starts, this is where you change numbers and code blocks to change your enemy waves in OBJ wave level 1. We have changed couple of those. The first one is the function call init. When you change the argument, that will change the number of zombies. So in short, if you want to change the number of zombies, change this argument from 5 to anything you want. If you want 50 zombies, type 50, 500, 500, 5000, and so on. So this is only related to your game design and your idea. If you want to change the enemy type, we have only saw how to change the existing enemy type. We have obj zombie, which is argument here, second argument in first function called. You can type, for example, obj Frankenstein to change that one, but those are the only two types of enemies so far. We will learn later how to add more. It's not so easy as you would think of. Other thing which we can change is this assign variable, which is like adding some different type of enemy into existing. So for example, if I have 5 obj zombie enemies, I can type this assign variable number and put some other enemy in it. So for example, in this exact case, the enemy at the place of 5 would be obj Frankenstein. Again 5 because these arrays, they start counting from 0. And the third thing which we have changed here is this new struct block. In it we have second argument, which says room speed times 3. Changing that argument will change the speed of spawning your zombies. So that would be in short recap of the previous video. So let's now change the let's now see how to add or remove enemy waves. First of all, let me zoom out again to see how big this code is. It's lots of code, not too much. It can be even worse, lots of worse. But so far, for a beginner, I guess this is also very confusing and too much. So first thing which I want to do is to I can open or close these. Yeah, I can open or close these blocks of code with clicking on this small triangle that will open or close. So now this will look even bigger. Some of those were even closed. Yeah, look at this. So this looks confusing, and I wouldn't recommend everything they did in this tutorial, in this game template, the way they did it. So we will talk about that in some maybe later videos. But this can be confusing and this can be scary, and that's like that even for people who are not beginners, who are not new to code. So don't worry much about that. There are different ways to do it. Maybe some would look simpler, but so far we are using the template from GameMaker. We have to deal with what we got. In previous video and in short recap a few moments ago, I have explained that we are using these first, I think, 4 blocks: function call, assign variable, new struct, and then again function call. Okay, so I can see later that this pattern repeats after the first 4, which I will now try to minimize with this button. Function call, assign variable, new struct, function call. I see those again. Function call, assign variable, new struct, function call. Let me try to minimize those two. And I see them again. Function call, assign variable, new struct, function call. So there is obviously some pattern which looks like this. Function call, assign variable, new struct, and then again function call. These 4 blocks of code, they define one enemy way. again, these 4 blocks together, when the GameMaker reads them and executes them from the top to the bottom, they define one enemy wave. So I have how many waves here? The first block called parent event, we're not going to explain that one, we did that before and you don't need to know that. And this one, assign variable level path, that means just use the level path 1. That's okay, but let me focus on this function call, assign variable new struct function call, that is wave 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again function call, assign variable new struct function call, that is wave 2. And wave 3 is function call, assign variable new struct function call. So all in all, I have 3 waves when I start the game. So if I start the game like I would in general, I would have, no, this is maybe too loud, I would have by default 3 waves. Why? Because GameMaker programmers who made this template, they defined the game that way. So this is all first wave still, because we have this Frankenstein, which is harder to kill as the last enemy. Okay, just kill him. This is the first wave and it's capped. So that was the first wave. Now if I click start, the second wave will start. Okay, so that works. I'm not going to play all the game, this is already too long. So for example, how would you... We have 3 waves and every wave has 4 blocks, so it's in total 12 blocks. These 12 blocks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, these 12 blocks define 3 waves. Every wave has 4 blocks. So how would you, for example, make a level with 1 wave only? The simplest, I guess the simplest way to do it, I would just disable everything but the my mouse is killing me, but the first 4 blocks. Why? Because first 4 blocks are first wave, and as you can see, I click with left click on the block, then right click and disable. I have disabled 4 last blocks, and so if I start the game now, it would only have 2 waves. I don't want that, I want to have it, my game to have only 1 wave, so I will disable the second block. And I think now 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. Now my game will have only 1 wave. Why? Because I have that code only in my wave object. So now when the first wave is finished, my game will say game over, you won, or whatever it says, I'm not sure. But anyway, we just want to test now the difference. The first time when we tested, we saw that after the first wave we had the second wave and so on. Now, because I have disabled the other code, I will have only 1 wave. And why would you do that? There are so many, yeah, so you can see it works. You can replay, you can go to main menu, but we want to exit. So we have only 1 wave, and that is how you remove or add. How to remove so far. We will see how to add, it's the same. Why would you do it? Yeah, I wanted to say that. You would want to do that, for example, if you have some game which has more than 1 level. So on the first level I want to have only 1 wave to teach the player how to play the game, like some kind of tutorial to show him the easiest enemies and so on, to learn so he can learn how to buy towers, how to kill the zombies and so on. So that would be easy, fast and so on. And the second level would be 2 waves, third 3 waves and so on. So you would do it like this, just disable the waves you don't need. You can actually even delete them with the right click instead of disable, but I wouldn't want to do it again, because I'm just playing with these parameters and learning how this template works. I'm not going to delete something which I cannot bring back later if I need. What you can do else here, I can instead, if you want, we have just seen how the first level now the first wave was the shortest, but for some reason you would, for example, want to be the hardest, the longest. Let's make, for example, the last level. For the last level, I can disable the first wave, disable the first 4 blocks, and I will enable the last 4 blocks. So now, let me see how many enemies we will have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will have 20 zombies. Cool. And I will have lots of Frankensteins. Cool. And I will have room speed, I guess, faster. Okay. Okay, so now we have enabled the last wave, and as you can see, disabled the first wave, which was by default. So now we will have more enemies just like that by clicking the buttons enable, disable, and that's it. So now let me see. Yeah. Oops. Oh, we're on. I thought we were already done. Oh, they can't. Anyway, you can see how this works. So we have so many enemies already. Lots of Frankensteins. So it's easy like that to add or remove enemy waves. We have learned in previous video how to change number of zombies and so on, so we can do that. Okay, let me stop this. 20 minutes, yeah, not bad. Okay, so we have learned now how to remove enemy waves, to change the enemy waves in terms of how hard they are, and the same approach would be for adding more waves if you need. So for example, we had 3 of those. If you want to have like 5 or 50, that would look maybe kind of stupid or crazy, but again, the simplest way, and I guess the default way, because that's how they made this template, would be just to copy this block, then right click, paste it, function call, then copy assign variable, paste it, then copy. Yeah, I can do it. Why not? Copy, paste, copy, assign variable, paste. Yeah, but the problem here is that they go one below other, which can. So I will undo, and it doesn't work. Okay, I can always delete it. Function call, let me see, the first one, actually the undo worked. I wanted to copy paste this guy, but to be here, I'm not sure why it's not. Yeah, why it's copied here instead of here. I guess again it's some kind of crazy default. Copy, paste. What I'm trying to show here is that you can copy paste as simple and fast as this: click, left click to select, right click to copy, right click to paste, but just take care that it will go, you will have to manually move it below. Again, that's kind of stupid and crazy and can bring errors in code, but I'm not sure what would be the better way to do it here. In the last one, array push, copy, there is some way I think to paste it in place, but I have forgot how to do it. Okay, so function call, we have that one. We have assign variable. Oops, this is crazy. We have assign variable. We have new struct, and we have function call again. Okay, so you see I have copy paste 4 blocks of code. Yeah, 4 blocks of code, and that's how I added new wave enemy. Again, I have just copy pasted existing code blocks, 4 of those: function call, assign variable, new struct, function call, in object which is called obj wave level 1 in create event, and that is how you add enemy waves. But again, the crazy stuff is that this would look bigger and bigger. The more enemy waves you add, it would grow as crazy, especially when you open all of those, and that is what scares me. I would I would probably think before watching this code that they somehow used some for loop or something like that, and some kind of parameters or modular. But you can see this is, for example, only I think 5 waves. Look at how many code. So can you find your way here? This again, this is not wrong way. There is not a wrong or a right way in terms of coding. If things work, if game works, and we have tested it worked. So no one cares about this code. Your players, your people who play your game, they don't see this code and they don't care. But I'm talking about you as a coder. If you can do this much shorter and better, and somehow avoid copy pasting and typing all of this, because that can bring new errors, then do it. And we will see that maybe in future in some videos. But again, that's another thing in terms of when you use other people's code, which we are doing here now. You have to be aware of that, and sometimes the code which you will get to use will not be something which you expected to get, or something which you would code exactly the same way like they did it. But most of the time, if it works, it's good enough to just somehow make small changes and so on. But for bigger games and more complex games and more original custom games, you would probably go from scratch. Most of the people, most of the programmers, coders, as much as artists and game designers, they go from scratch. They go from zero and start coding everything by themselves, because that's how they will know where is what this thing does, how I did this one, and so on. And that's much easier. It looks like a longer and harder way to do it, but on the long term it's much easier. That's it for this video. Again, we have learned now how to add or remove enemy waves. In previous video we have learned how to edit enemy waves, so more or less you can now start customizing this tutorial on your own. I don't say it's easy or smart or it will finish well, but You can do it now easier, I guess, than before. We have to see. I made community post about what I'm going to make videos about. We will learn how to add new enemies, so new from scratch, not zombies, but maybe try to add something else. Towers, how to add those, how to add enemy paths, yeah, and add new enemy paths, and that's it, I guess, more or less. After that you should be able to make a game. Just change the graphics, change the enemy numbers, their graphic art style, the mechanics of those, and that would be finished game. Until then, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.